Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sanctuary Online. It is September, and we are doing a special end of summer, maybe even Indian summer, Sanctuary Kitchen. So we're very excited to welcome you all tonight. And in order to do that, I have to do one thing first. Cheryl, I wanted to give you a moment to chat about next week as we start things off. So hold on, I got a little slide for you. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Next week, we're going to talk about The Diamond Eye. And so that book, if you haven't finished reading it or you haven't started reading it, read it. It's a pretty cool book. And The Diamond Eye, about a Soviet back in World War II, before we got involved in the war. She was a Soviet, what do you call it?
Sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter, yeah. Sniper, yes, thank you. Yeah, so anyway, it's all about her and what she did.
Cool.
It's a pretty cool book.
So can Kristen read it in a week, Cheryl?
Yeah, she can.
Okay. All right.
Hi, Michael. Audio book instead of on 2. Just kidding.
Kristen, that's what here's we're talking about recipe hacks tonight, but what I sometimes do is put it on 2 for like maybe 35 seconds and then dump it down to 1.5 and it's like, oh, this is slow now. And you and I, we'll still get through the book, right?
Yeah.
So let's kick it off again tonight. What we're hoping for, my friends, is very often almost all of Sanctuary Kitchen is videos and instruction. That's when MasterChef Ken or Tom are on. This is less MasterChef. And Cheryl said she really wanted to build a Sanctuary Kitchen that's conversational. So we've got a couple hacks to open up with. We have a cooler than you are just going to freak out. Like you're going to be today days old to learn our third hack with corn on the cob. Aren't they, Mom? Mom, remember? Mom's face was like, ooh, ooh.
Ooh.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Mom. So I think we're going to just start us off. And I want to draw your attention here. I'm going to stop this share and go over to a video, our first video. And you might have to have your volume up kind of loud, but we'll see how this goes. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Tell me you can see.
So,
Mom, we're here at Sanctuary North Kitchen. And what are you doing with the buns?
I'm buttering the buns.
How come?
Because Joe's going to toast them on the grill so we have the hamburger and it'll be just wonderful.
So I'm going to toast those on the grill after I finish the hamburgers, right?
Well, as soon as, yes, so that we have nice hamburgers to eat with toasted buns.
Yep, and I make grill marks that go hashtag on those things. Oh, hold on. Cheryl, what you got?
Burgers.
Okay, here we go, Mom. Looks like they're already done, Cheryl. What's going on?
They're done, except Mom needs to add her special touch.
Mom, what are you doing there? Looks like you have a stainless steel
I'm going to have a
tablespoon.
stainless steel spoon here, and I'm going to push it down in the middle of each hamburger so that it cooks evenly all the way through. You don't have a big old bump in the middle.
Well,
And
that's
so
quite a smart technique.
You don't want to push it all the way through because you don't want a donut. You just want to get a good indentation so that it'll cook all the way through.
And it stays flat, doesn't it?
And it stays flat when
Yep.
it comes out. So that's what I'm up to.
Well, that's great. I'm glad we don't have hamburger donuts because that would be weird.
Well, they might be good too, you never know.
You never know.
But anyway, that's what I'm up to. And we're going to have hamburgers on the grill tonight for supper. Some of Joe and Cheryl's
Specialties. I'm going to move it around here so you can get it in there really good. Because you do, if you can see that indentation, you see that? And it's right in the middle.
Right in the middle, so it cooks all the way around.
These hamburgers are about 1/3 of a pound, Cheryl, 6 ounces.
Correct.
And so, like Mom said, you can use a soup spoon, but apparently Mom prefers the tablespoon that I use for my bulletproof coffee in the morning. Thanks, Gran. Cheryl, what are you doing over here?
I'm making the relishes to go on the hamburgers.
What's the deal with our sous chef? She has a mallard.
Yeah.
All right, Cheryl, tell me what's going on over here.
Well, I have sliced some tomatoes that are fresh out of the garden of Annie's garden.
Ooh, Annie and Amy's garden, fresh tomatoes.
Yep.
Have some sliced onion,
And we have
some
sliced
fresh lettuce. What kind of head? This is called head
onions.
lettuce.
Head
What is
lettuce, yeah.
iceberg lettuce, actually.
Iceberg lettuce.
And then what's next, Cheryl?
And then I have some Clausen dill pickles
Only the best.
that are already in slices for
Oh, for hamburgers.
hamburgers. Yeah. So we're gonna
Okay.
open it.
You're working hard over there.
There we go. And then we're gonna put all of these
Under this nice tray.
onto this nice tray.
All right, well, I better get outside and heat that grill, don't you
You
think?
better get out there and heat the grill. 'Cause
Anything else that's going on this tray? It's beautiful.
That's it. Then
All right.
that's all we're putting on this tray.
Okay, we're ready to go. Beta, beta, beta. Let's go to the grill. So I'm hoping you like our new all-star cast.
I think you just amuse yourself.
I have a question.
Sure,
That
Kelly,
little
bring it.
hamburger,
Pardon?
I'm gonna bet it's for Bader.
Well,
That little baby burger?
little beta burger, as long as it doesn't have onions in it, right? Cheryl, what do you put in your burgers that makes them so fantastic?
Eggs, salt and pepper, and onions.
Eggs.
Kelly, why'd you make that face? You don't put eggs in your hamburger?
I've never heard of eggs in
Put
hamburgers.
one or
Come on.
two eggs in, and it makes them stay together better. Don't you think, Kim? I bet you do that.
It's a binder. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
At-
funny. I
like-
do that with meatloaf, but I never thought to do it when I'm making a hamburger, which is kind of the same thing in a different shape.
Yeah.
But you do it like one egg to a pound, or how much?
About that. Yeah. I mean, I just do it till it looks right, but about 1 egg to a pound. Yeah.
How unhelpful is that, Kelly, right? Just till it looks right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
that's
put like
like,
3 or
okay,
4 in
Mama.
there, Cheryl.
And can I say how smart it is
Hey.
to use a tablespoon to put
Yes.
the divot in the middle, and your hands don't get all.
Nasty.
That's right. It's perfect, isn't it?
Some folks say to use a thumb, Darcel, but tonight is about upgrading your game. Okay, so no more thumbs in the middle of your burgers, people. Now, I am going to advocate, though, Darcel, for a soup spoon, because that tablespoon is the same one I use for my morning bulletproof coffee. And now I'm not sure it had raw hamburger on it the next morning. Mom, where are you?
One.
I'm
watching
going
this?
to advocate. I'm going to advocate for a mixing spoon because they're actually round. You know, and when you use I couldn't tell if you were using a measuring spoon there or you were using a measuring spoon, weren't you?
Tablespoon.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And it
so
was a
it's not
round
just
one.
it's
Yeah.
not just a tablespoon because they're oval shaped. You know,
Yeah.
and you want a perfectly round. So yeah, a tablespoon mixing spoon.
Yeah. That's what she was using, and I thought that was just right. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a round tablespoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
If
was-
all else fails, you use your thumb.
Yes, there you go, Mom. Yes.
Thanks, Mom.
The other thing I've heard before,
There you
I've
go.
never tried it, is to put an ice cube in the middle of your hamburger. It makes it juicy and keeps it not dried, not too cooked.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom or Ken, have you ever done that? Anybody ever done that? Because I've never done that.
I've done it and I couldn't tell any difference, so I just never did it again.
It would be a pain.
Just much with your grill, right? And then it sizzles, then there's fire, then there's, Anyway, I did want you to mention, Mom, when you go all the way out on the bun, when you're buttering it, what is that stuff on the outside? Remember the name?
On the outside of the bun,
Near the outside of the bun.
an
crust.
edging butter.
Edge butter.
You put across an edge of the crust.
When we were little kids and we were required to oh, here comes Cynthia. back
Butter
in.
to the edge.
Yeah.
You had to butter to the edge.
If we didn't butter it all the way to the edge, my dad would throw it back and say, put some edge butter on that. So we, as kids, I thought everybody
Edge
had edge
butter.
butter.
Huh?
But
Huh.
what I'm going to tell you, again, this is a hack tonight. Edge butter is the same as regular butter, but it's on the edge. Okay. So I know that might sound kind of profound,
On the
you
bun.
know, like a dog
You
egg.
won't find it. You won't find that in the store.
So what do you guys do for burgers that's a hack? Do you have any hacks?
Any hacks?
Special things that you do to make them better?
I have one
Oh,
that
just roll them in a ball and stick them in the, patty them up and put your thumb in the middle and put them on the grill.
Mom's
that
oversimplifying.
Don't know. I don't know how else to cook them.
that indentation that you make in the center when you do what Mom just did. Here's a hack that I love. Fill that little hole with
Oh
liquid
yeah.
hickory smoke.
Huh.
Have
Ooh,
that next to you,
About that.
Yeah, just
that's
fill
a
that
great
little
hack.
hole up. Fill it up with liquid hickory smoke, and then it gives you that wonderful smoked hickory taste.
Oh,
Or
I just
Worcestershire.
took the regular.
Well, I'm going to take
That's a
us out
great
to the
idea.
grill because I want to show you a couple things. Because the one thing I will tell you, Cheryl and I experimented because the night before this, we'd made like quarter pounders for the family, and we had a guest over for dinner, and I felt terrible because when you do a quarter pounder, you can't make it wide enough, like big enough for the bun, but thick enough, right? So it just is like, bleh. And here my our guest said, "Oh, these burgers are so good," and I'm like, "No, they're crap." The next time we had them, which was for this, that little bit of difference. So if you want to think about it, make it one third pound burger, literally from cooking it to if you like pink in the middle, you know, which some folks do, all the difference in the world as far as size. But when you do put the indentation in the middle, you can tear the burger when you're putting it on. So I'm going to toss another video up here and show you what we do once we get them out to the grill. Hi everybody, and here we are for Sanctuary Kitchen. We're doing some interesting summer hacks or great grilling food, but really, what do you do to make it special? And tonight we're going to have plenty of conversation around that. So one of the things I do when I'm cooking nearly anything, the grill is all set, piping hot, but I like to put, it's okay, I've got a daughter who's a firefighter. I like to pull this grilling pan so nothing is sticking, right? So I use that. And tonight we're doing burgers. You've already seen. My mom has everything all set. Cheryl when
made
you
these
scoop it out,
beautiful
that's tough.
third-pound burgers.
Clean hands.
And Mom put those gorgeous little dimples in them. And what that does, honestly,
There you go. That's
it
the hack.
allows them to grill really evenly.
Flip that over. That's
This
the
is a
hack.
hack too. We always put these on wax paper. Here's a little one, not sure who that's for. We'll find the small person. If you do wax paper, you can plop that thing over. Fabuloso, right? So those babies start, and I start a timer right away. One of the things that you want to always have with you is a timer that you do properly.
Everybody get Joe's passcode there?
Yeah. I was all set, Kristen. I'm like, hold on. I'm locked out of my own phone.
Don't show it, Cheryl. So, 90 seconds, and we're going to turn them one half and get a nice char check mark from the grills. 90 seconds, we're going to flip them over. 90 seconds, we turn them. 90 seconds, that should be between 120 and 130. 120 is a rare burger, and 130 is kind of medium. So we'll see how that works out. And you'll see that we've got the meat thermometer just in case. We've got these buttered buns all set, and the cheeses of people's preferences laid out. That is how you hack a fabulous summer burger. Thanks.
Hi, everybody, and here we are. So here's the deal on this, folks. The wax paper, Duliapi, flipping them over, definitely a hack. And with the buns, I don't know if you saw it there, we take the buns apart and do all the bottom buns first. Same thing. I put them on until they get toasty, and I flip them so they get a nice check in the middle. Because then you can deliver the buns. Then you can deliver the burgers. I have to put cheese on them. Cheese needs about a minute. You'll notice we had people's preference of cheese laid out. That makes a difference when you're trying to make burgers for 5, 6, 7, 8 people. And then, so they get the bottom bun, they start to play, accoutrement it. Then they put your burger on it. And then I do the top ones. So little tiny things like that, but they do make a difference, don't they, honey?
Totally make a difference.
So let's check it out. Last little details we have back up to the slideshow is we have mom up here. Again, all the fixins, gorgeous. In my family, people care what kind of pickle they have. Like some folks like sweet pickles, some folks like dill pickles. Kelly, yes, same for you.
My family has to have hamburger dills, although I love those pickles.
Yep.
What's a hamburger dill? The flat ones, like the
The little round ones.
Little round, and it comes in a jar that says hamburger dill. So
Yeah,
they're like McDonald's.
that's called marketing, Kelly. You're paying extra for that, okay? I'm gonna show you here. We've got mayonnaise. We've got a couple kinds of mustard because Cheryl has this weird kind that she likes. Then a good, nice, spicy mustard. Also, this ranch dressing. Some folks are digging that. If you like the whole McDonald's kind of Big Mac style. And then here's Granny out on the porch doing her job, right, Gran?
That's it.
What do you do at night, Gran?
Pardon?
What do you do at night before we eat?
What do I do at night?
Before we eat. What's your job?
Well, I always have to set the table. That's my job. I set the table.
And you do a great job doing it. So there's the table all set. Everything's all good and ready. And then once again, the more you have everything set out, if you're grilling for a half dozen people, it's not that big of a deal. But once you start grilling for 10, 20, and 30 folks at a party, man, having someone else be in charge of who wants what cheese is a great idea. And then again, if they're like, I've got some folks in my family that want them mooing and other folks that want them like a hockey puck. And so you just manage that around your grill. So any other hacks on the good old-fashioned, plain old amazing burger?
I got one more, Joby. This little gizmo right here is a hamburger patty maker. It's a third of a pound. You just put your burger, you put the meat right into this inside
So here we are.
And it is that way your burger, and then you flatten your burger out. And so it's exactly the same thickness all the way around.
Oh, that's genius.
It cooks, and you make your indentation in it while it's still inside here. And then the bottom is movable. So you just push the bottom out, and that pushes your burger out, and you take your burger out, from there. So we especially when like we did a party recently here at Sanctuary where we cooked 28 burgers.
Yeah.
And this makes it so much faster. Just pack it down in there, make that indentation, push it out, and you got a burger.
That's amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah, you need to put the link in the chat on that one, Ken. That's fabulous. Is that just an Amazon
And
thing?
it comes in different sizes. You can do sliders and all kinds of things.
Of course you can. All right, burgers.
We put garlic butter on our buns.
Oh, there you go,
Oh,
Kelly. Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well,
I'd like to do that.
you can't really do burgers without doing brats. So a couple hacks for some good bratwurst. And again, you can see our family kind of likes to prepare everything ahead of time. So we've got these gorgeous buns. What kinds of the buns are those, Cheryl? Just
It's artesian.
yeah.
I buy
artisan
artesian
they're
style.
beautiful buns. We've got edge butter, obviously, more Kerrygold edge butter. Again, tomatoes always from the market in the summertime if you can. And then this looks sort of nasty up here, but here's what my family does. Okay. We go to a butcher that is just down across the lake, and we get different flavored. They make them themselves right there. So what you have right here, these three, I had one of these for lunch today, unexpectedly. It's a jalapeno and pepper jack cheese. That bitch was hot. It was really, really hot. Then this next one, these are sweet Italians, mom's favorite. This next one really, I think probably my favorite, the mushroom and Swiss. And then these last ones are Michigan cherry, which they cooked really weird. Pardon, Cynthia?
Weird.
Cynthia, you chatting? No, you're chatting somebody else. Anyway, so jalapeno. No worries. Jalapeno. Let me see. I think I've got a slide on these. Jalapeno pepper jack, sweet Italian, Swiss mushroom, and Michigan cherry. And I don't know about you, but these things are they're huge. And you can see here $6.11 for 3 of them. So really $5.45 for 3 of them. About $2 a brat can allow you to do some fun experimentation for not breaking the budget, don't you think? Yeah, come on, give it up. Okay, so what you want to do, oops, is EVOO, okay? Hold on. I was doing the bratwurst journey. But what you have to do is slather them with extra virgin olive oil, okay? Also, the casing is all incredibly slippery. Now, don't mind this bottom thing here because I'm going to fix it. This is the bratwurst journey. Are you ready? From the butcher to Grand's back deck. First off, once again, everything's prepared. The last thing you want to do is screw up which brat is what. Because that can just piss anybody off. They're like, I wanted the cherry one. Well, that was obvious. Oh, I wanted the sweet Italian. I got the jalapeno, right? So you got to be very, very careful. So you can see my platter here. And I still have the brats in order, which is also the way I'm going to put them on the grill. Come on, someone give me some applause for that. All right, a little bit of a hack there. Yep, thank you. Appreciate that. So it matters initially because they're big until they start to shrink down. And then, so I'm going to go on this way and get a nice little char mark on them. I like to do some angles and dangles, as you've heard already so far. And then I flip those babies over, staying in the same order. But you might notice that the ones that were in the back now come to the front. Because if they're in the back too long, they're going to cook fast, right? They're going to be done way ahead of time. So we do that. You can see the cherry. I don't know if you can see this. It's like sticking out the outside. This was going to look nasty. And then it's about 2 minutes on the one side, 2 minutes on the other side. Thank you, Kristen. Then you put them on their backs, right? Anybody do this? Anybody that careful with these things, right? So what you want to do once you got some nice char grill marks is you put them on their backs for a while and let them heat up. And then it's not done until you put them on their bellies, right? You got to put their little belly. And the same thing, they're still in this little order so I can tell who gets what. And the grill. It's not quite as important because these are hot dog buns. They like to stay together, okay? Anyway, that's what we do. And then what do you have at the end? Happy, happy, happy family. Look at that. All those folks. Yum, 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 yum. There we go. Cheryl, the next slide says, Cheryl elicits tips, tricks, and recipe hacks from the audience. This is your section.
How long did you cook them?
Becky, the sausage, gosh, I want to say I go to 135, but the sausage is critical to have the meat thermometer. Because obviously with pork, you all know this, the minute you get to a legal temp, which I think is 135, I'll check that for you in a minute. I think it's 135 for a sausage. You gotta get them off of there because all they're gonna do from then on is dry out. You know, yet you want to get them all the way to temperature as well, just for safety. So that meat thermometer there. I'm not sure if you saw that. I can. I should have done a close up of my meat thermometer. I don't have.
It's okay, Joby.
Here we go. Got it. Here's sort of a close up of this meat thermometer right here. Handy dandy. I'm going to do this and make this even bigger for you. Can you see that big boy?
Yeah.
I promise you, if you're going to grill, this thing will make all the difference in your life. Whether you're doing steaks, whether we do steak a lot. We do steak on Sundays, actually. We do pork tenderloins. I do chicken with my steak, and everything's a different temperature, therefore a different amount of time, right? And so I'm just a handy dandy chip with this. And this one will go on off, a light in the back, and it also does Celsius if you're so inclined. Anybody else? Thoughts? What else do you do? Cheryl, come on, give it up.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what other hacks you guys might have for things that you grill outside. What do you do that's special?
I'm not a big fan of brats. I grew up in the deep South. Tom grew up in upstate New York, and it's all about brats there. And he boils his in
Yes.
onions and beer before we put them on the grill.
Yes.
And Doris, isn't that what your family does?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask about that. Darlene's German family that we used to camp with every summer in the North Woods of Wisconsin, they wouldn't think, and they were horrified when I started doing brats without, no, you must boil those in beer and they do stay moist. They do
Yep.
stay real moist when you do that.
So the purpose of grilling them is just to get the outside done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which for a brat you really want, right? I mean, I think there's something to be said for those grill
I would think that would
stripes.
cook them more thoroughly, like uniformly, versus I always get tempted. You had to be really patient to do it that way, Joby, but I always end up like slicing them down the middle because I'm like, the middles are never like the really thick ones. I know it's horrible. Everybody gets impatient. I'm like, fine, I'll just do it this way. The middle's not cooking. But that's
No.
probably good.
So what temp did you say? I wasn't here.
I need to look it up. I think it's 135.
It is, Joe.
135.
It is. Yes, it's 135.
Okay.
So once again, most meats, oh, Jules, most meats, you want to finish cooking maybe like 5 degrees before the temperature that you want, right? Especially for a bigger meat like a steak or for a for tenderloin. And then you want to tent it, right? You do not want to poke it, Jules, or you don't want to slice it. So
I
I
only do
find
that on the big brats, but steak and all your all of that, juices no. out. I know
Well,
how to keep it safe in the
okay,
tenting.
so keep it sacred, because what you want to do, with the brat, again, we try and get the ones that are homemade, and so the ends aren't really closed, so that you can kind of pick that little fill up and just stick it in there and check it out. I will tell you, when you're cooking a brat with cheese or cherries, everything changes. So you got to really trust yourself because the cheese, all of it changes the consistency. So if you're not used to that, don't do that for the first time with guests. Practice. They cost $2. Go down and get one with jalapeno cheese. Go down and get that one with mustard or mushroom and Swiss. They're fun. Another way to do this is also make them and then slice them up, right? And you can slice them on a plate, and people can do a big they can use the toothpick thing and try different kinds. There's probably 13 or 14 different kinds down at this one butcher that we use, but I didn't want to go down there and do all that for video because I know I'd screw it up. There you go. What else? Becky, is that good? Answers your question? Jules feels appropriately chastised. What else? Anybody else on brats or anything else that you cook on the grill? It's the welcome hazing, Jules. We're done now.
That's how we do it in my family.
Tom just mentioned that this is going back to the burgers, but one of the things that's real important when we are doing burgers on the grill is the lean to fat ratio portion. If you get any higher than 80-20, you're probably gonna get a dry
hard.
Yeah, so 80-20 is a really good 80 lean, 20 fat. That way you get all the moisture and also the flavor, fat flavors meat. And so you get your protein from that 80%, and then you get the flavor and the moisture from the 20%. So 80-20 is the perfect when you're making things like meatloaves and meatballs and things that you can go higher, with the protein to the fat, but with the burgers, 80-20 is really kind of the perfect ratio.
That's a great point, Ken, because I know we normally go 93.7, Cheryl, for when we're cooking But yeah, that 80%, 80-20 is going to get it more marbled like a ribeye as compared to a New York
Yeah,
strip,
yeah.
right? Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else at all?
And Tom's also putting in a plug for veggie burgers because he doesn't eat beef.
Oh yeah, veggie burgers.
Yeah.
Well, and yes, and here again, the planning ahead of time, because that veggie burger, is it a black bean burger? Is it got instructions come in a box? Does it have a, instructions on it? Because if you're doing, as I'm often doing, a burger, chicken and steak or burgers and Tom's veggie burger, you really want to try and manage the whole grill. Sometimes that also helps with brats is that you get the grill really hot, which is what you normally want it for a meat, then you turn it down, right? You want it almost at a medium temperature, because you want that outside. You want it to be snappy when you bite into it, but you don't want the inside either raw or dried out, right? And brats, pork in general is pretty challenging like that. When we do the same thing, when I do a big pork tenderloin. I did that before. I did that last summer, I think, on Sanctuary Kitchen. And the key to that one, baby, is 7 on one side, flip it to 6 on the other side, turn it off, flip it to 5, and it will come out perfect every time. And the key is when you slice it, you slice it against the grain. Do y'all know this? Any meat,
Yeah.
you slice it against the grain, right? And it cuts those fibers and makes the meat even more tender. Barb, where'd you go? Is Barb still here? I can't see it. I had to leave. All right. Well, as you can see here in the chat, incredibly rude. She's like, people get all the same kind of cheese. That's not going to happen in my house ever. When you come here, you get the cheese of your choice, except for my mother, who uses American cheese that is not really cheese. Mom.
It's a pasteurized cheese product.
Yeah.
You're so prejudiced. We're Americans.
That's not American. That stuff is not. It's not American, and it's not cheese.
It hasn't hurt my health a bit.
Except the 95.
Yeah, I mean, she's 95. What are you going to say, Joe? Come on.
You go, Mom.
Even on the cooking channel, they say that's the only cheese for a grilled cheese is American.
Oh,
Really?
what's wrong?
Because it's the only one that
Grilled cheese, yeah.
melts properly.
Yeah, that's called a construction, Kelly. They construct a food product to make it do something. Doesn't mean it's food.
It's
Yeah.
also the very best in the enchiladas. All the Mexican restaurants here in Texas put American in their enchiladas.
Well, that's still wrong.
Ooh.
Kristen, you
I
were gonna
have
say
to come
something.
in the restaurant. Every time I get in there and I like it, I say, "What kind of cheese?" American.
Oh, no. See, I'm back with Jules. No. No matter how many of you, Becky, no matter how much you defend my mother, no. That's just nasty. That's just, anyway. But she is 95. She does happen to pay well, you don't pay the mortgage, Mom. There is no mortgage on the house. But either way, it's her house. So she gets what she wants, right?
My house, my
Yes.
rules.
My house, my rules.
That's
Good.
right. My house, I rules. Exactly.
All right. Anybody else? I'm looking for what about a non-grill recipe hack? I mean, Cheryl, you have some rules with what, like garlic and stuff in your recipes.
Well, my rules, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have these same kind of rules, is if it calls for a tablespoon of garlic, it usually gets close to 2. If it calls for any kind of savory type of spice like that, I usually put more than it calls for. What I do less of personally is less of ketchup, less of sugar, less of honey. I just do a little bit less of those things personally because I prefer the savory flavors more. But
An
that's just
Italian,
me.
it's triple the garlic. Is the
There you go.
Jules. Yeah. I'll see you one.
Well,
I'll see you double and I'll triple that stuff. Lordy.
I
But
put
you
all the
have to be
ketchup. I
careful.
put all the ketchup in the garbage can.
Thank you.
Another
I know.
segment of
Sometimes,
cooking.
sometimes I substitute it with something else. Like I have some beans that call for a little bit of ketchup, and instead I put picante sauce in.
I was
Anyway.
today
Yeah.
But if you use fresh garlic and mince it yourself, you can't put as much as when you use that jarred kind.
Oh,
It's
you
not
Right.
bet.
wrong.
Yeah,
What?
Kristen
When we all
disagrees.
I was talking only about fresh clothes. Like if it, I
when we all gather around the sanctuary table, I put the jalapenos right in front of Cheryl's plate every
Yum.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Jules, you were.
Joby,
Oh, go ahead,
I,
Ken.
I, I want to make a pitch for a sort of a combination of inside outside. Um, I I I used to when I grilled outside, I would start everything and cook it totally on the grill. And it was kind of hit and miss, especially with things like chicken and
Yeah.
things, it was really hard to do that. And so I learned several years ago a technique which y'all have certainly seen me do all the time. I do it with my ribs. I do it with chicken. I do it with any kind of. I did beef short ribs last week, and it is first of all to get yourself a really good rub. A really good rub. These rubs are made constituted with spices, particularly for poultry, for pork, for beef, even for vegetables. This particular one is for chicken because we got a big party coming up here at Sanctuary this weekend. I'm going to be barbecuing 20 pounds of chicken. And
Wow.
so, but what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to rub it really well, all the pieces with a good poultry rub. And then I'm going to put them into a big pan and seal it very tightly with heavy duty tin foil. Put it in the oven. With chicken, it's like at 350 for 45 minutes to an hour. With my pork ribs, it's like 225 for 3.5 to 4 hours. And then take it and first of all, let it cool down. When you bring it out of the oven, let it cool down. Don't try to put hot things out of the oven onto the grill or they'll fall apart. Let it cool down and then put it onto the grill and put your barbecue sauce on it on the grill. And that way it's always really tender because when you cook it in the oven in a really tightly sealed thing like that with your rub on it, that steam is going to tenderize it and it's going to put all the flavors from your rub all through the meat. And then when you put it on the grill, all you have to do is get your good char on it and your barbecue sauce. And I do almost everything that way now except burgers. Burgers, of course, just go right onto the grill, but almost anything else that goes on my grill goes in the oven first. And by the time it goes onto the grill, it's either all done or almost done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And when
Well,
again, go ahead, Cynthia.
I wanted to make a pitch and I'm looking around at the pictures and saying, well, this won't mean too much to many people, but I want to make a pitch for year-round grilling. Of course, I lived in Arizona for 5 years and I grilled every single night almost. And so when I got back to Michigan and Chicago for 26 years, and when we built this house, Darlene said to me, is there anything you want? And I said, yes, for sure. I want my grill on the same level as my kitchen. Because
Yeah.
in Chicago, I had to go down 14 steps with the
Oh,
food and 14 back up. And I did it in snowstorms. Don't get me wrong. I did because I liked grilled food that much. And the gay men downstairs put a light over my grill as I walked, and so I could turn it on as I walked across the yard to grill in snow. But we always, when she was alive, we always had lamb chops for on the grill for Christmas, for example.
mm.
So I want to make a push for any weather. The other thing that I found about grilling, I got my first grill, by the way, at 12 years old. And
Oh my goodness.
my mom said, there's a new thing out, people are grilling, and you know your dad will still be working in that garden. He's not going to do it. Would you like to? Oh, I said, sure. So we went down. I had to put it together. Of course, being the good dyke that I am, I could put it together. It was all pieces on the ground, and I
Your
screwed it
dad's not
together.
going to do this.
And you see, in those days, you had no top on your grill. And of course, in Girl
Oh,
Scouting and all that, I cooked outside with no top. So I want to also talk about that. There's two ways of grilling. You know, there's grilling with an open top and there's grilling with a lid. And of course, most of us have gone to a lot of lid grilling. It's so wonderful. But I did have a little tutorial once from a person who'd had a, are you ready for this? The Weber has a college in Illinois. And this woman was a graduate of the Weber Grill School. But she gave us a little tutorial. It was fun.
Do they
And
give
she
scholarships?
said,
Jules
the
wants to know if they
grilling,
get scholarship, Cynthia.
no, we did, it was all free.
That's a good scholarship.
She kept saying the cooking really starts when that lid comes down. So
Wow.
just be aware of getting that lid down and everything. So that was a good tip from her. And but as I said, and this idea of vegetables too, Ken. Oh, when we used to be in the cottage rental business out here. We had 6 cottages, and darling, we'd come out here and work on them in the off season, and it was always fun because I do chicken breasts, but it was always an open grill. I don't think it had a lid, but we did these veggie packets, which were so tasty. And the only thing that, I learned too then is that grilling takes time, but it's well worth the time.
Yeah.
So you have to plan.
When we do our vegetables, Cynthia, depending on which ones they are, Cheryl mostly puts them in bags, and we olive oil them, and then I dump them into one of those baskets. But if it's big enough,
baskets are great too.
Yeah, but if you can take the big pieces of broccoli or the peppers out and get those char marks again, I try and do that with every large. Otherwise, I lose them. The little summer guns go down. What's the other favorite, Cheryl? Is if you have not grilled asparagus in your life, zucchini is fabulous.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But if you've not grilled asparagus, it's a life changer. Absolutely.
Or and zucchini, like I like zucchini like cut long ways and do that on the grill.
Yeah, spears.
Asparagus.
I use for veggies.
Asparagus
and usually well used there.
Yeah, it's very well used. I live in Florida, so I can. When I had a grill, I need to purchase a new one, but
yeah. Yes.
Well, I think in Texas you need to grill in the winter.
It's all winter.
Yeah, it's a 4-season thing.
When it's 105 outside and humid, it is too hot to stand out there.
Okay, let Ken talk.
Jump in, Ken.
This summer we had a really, really prolific garden here at our organic garden here at Sanctuary, and we grew just tons and tons of the little patty pan squash and yellow summer squash and zucchini. And so what I learned to do this year for the first time, and Tom just said eggplant. Yes, we got tons of eggplant this year also. And what I learned to do is to blanch it, to cut the squash in, the way into the size pieces you want, and then blanch it, then throw it into cold water, and then to put it into the freezer, on a big tray with parchment paper, each individual piece, and freeze it, and then put it into a bag. That way it won't freeze together. The pieces stay separate from each other. And so I've got 26 bags of squash and eggplant in the freezer out there right now.
Wow.
And so all winter we will be grilling squash, all winter this year. And we gave away tons and tons of squash to all of our friends and people who visited Sanctuary. People would just go out here with bags of vegetables this year. But we've also filled our freezer up. And the way I like to do this is what Joey was talking about, is once you've got your pieces cut, put them into a Ziploc plastic bag with olive oil. And then here's my secret. It is adobo seasoning. It's Goya adobo. They make several different brands. This is just their original, and this has the ingredients include salt and pepper and turmeric and garlic and just all kinds of wonderful spices that go with vegetables. And then just put a lot of this in there with your olive oil. Turn it several times during the afternoon to make sure everything gets covered. And then I use a screen kind of thing, just like Jules just showed us, and just pour it in just pour that into the thing on the fire, and you'll get a flame initially, and that will kind of give you a little bit of char, onto your vegetables, and then just leave them there until they get tender. It's a really great way to grill veggies.
Yeah, Ken, I was gonna just maybe
Thank
that's
you,
a
Ken.
good thing to ask before we go into the next piece is any favorite flavorings? We know in Ken's house, if they're out of adobo seasoning, we might as well just call for the rapture.
We can't cook.
No,
That's right.
can't cook,
cook.
yeah. And I found one that I love. It's called Kickin' Chicken. Anybody else have Kickin' Chicken?
This is kicking chicken right here.
Oh, that Weber has something called Kickin'
Yeah,
Chicken.
this is Weber
If you
kicking
like a
chicken.
bit of spice, and that I do a McCormick chicken on the one side, then I flip it over the other side with Kickin' Chicken, and it's just a little bit of special. A little bit of special. One thing too, in those rubs, that's one of the things to not hold back. A rub needs to be really generous, right? It means rub, So when I finish rubbing the pork tenderloin, and I wrap it all up in the paper, and then I put it in the fridge, and I'm like, massage me, and I write on the thing. So anybody coming into the fridge that day, they can just take it and give it a little bit of a love, and it gets it in here deeper and deeper. But I want to honor our time. Thank you so much for your contributions tonight. But I got to show you the coolest hack. We were like, was this Sunday, Cheryl? Sunday. We were
Saturday night.
On Saturday night. And I'm not a fan personally of the microwave. Okay. I'm trying to do less and less and less as I learn more and more and more about health. But I have got to show you this. So if you've never done this before, I got 2 really short videos that I'd like to show you. I just crack me up. And we also have more of our guest hosts, of course. Guests. Here we go. So here we are at Sanctuary Kitchen, and this is our guest star tonight, Sully Sullivan. Sully Sullivan? Sully, what's your name? Sully. Okay, he's not really a guest star. So Cheryl, hello Cheryl, and Ann Davis, my sister-in-law, and Granny Bell are, what are you, Granny Bell? You're a guest star tonight. Okay, so the hack that they're going to do has everything to do with a single ear of corn. Good job, Vanna. Okay, so Ann, why don't you walk Mom through what she's supposed to do here? This is fascinating.
Corn and just put it right in the microwave, just the way it is. Just right in there.
So you do nothing to the corn.
Nothing.
You do nothing to the microwave. You don't wrap it in anything.
Take it from the farm and put it in the microwave.
3 minutes.
3 minutes
30
30,
seconds.
and then start.
Whack that, Mom.
Just hit start.
Hit start, Mom.
Really start?
Yeah. This is live. There goes the corn. All right, so we could do jokes, or we could.
It will be back.
That's the best idea. We'll be back in about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So here we are at Sanctuary. Hold on. One more. Please notice all the Sanctuary stuff in the back. We have the Sanctuary cookbook, just in case you don't have 2 or 3 or 4 of those yet. Sanctuary hot pads. Just checking, just making you know we are products of the product. It's been 1 minute, 30 seconds. Ready?
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Mom. The wonders of Hollywood. There's Mr. Corn. Or Mrs. Corn.
It's hot.
Steaming. Look at these. Mom's using all of our Sanctuary props. I love that.
It's steaming.
Okay, put it on the side for Ann. So again, my friends, Ann did this for her father, Frank, God rest his soul. And he did this all the time because he was
And then you cut
single
it just
guy.
above, not here, but you got to get right into the kernels and cut it.
Okay. Into the
Right
kernels
now,
with a
like
nice... Watch this.
And then you just squeeze it.
Look at that, Mom.
Look at that.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
that's awesome. No silk.
Not a silk.
No silk.
Mom.
Hot, fresh corn. It's gonna be too hot to
Ann's
eat
here,
for
Doug's
another
here.
minute or so. It's
Sully.
gonna cool a bit.
Come here, Sully. Look at you.
That was easy. Fresh, hot
And
corn in 3
here's the rest of the corn. The boring old way. Goes in here. All right. All right. Good job, Mom. Thanks, Ann.
I'll try that again.
I bet you will. All right, back to Sanctuary Kitchen. More hack. Has anybody ever seen that before?
I have seen it before, and I was shown it by Darlene's cousin, who was, right in the middle of Wisconsin with her kids, and she would not touch a piece of corn that hadn't been picked in the last 20 minutes. So seriously, she showed me that. She'd say, "Don't call me till you're within about 30 minutes of my house, because I'm not going to get dinner ready until, you're right here." And I go out and pick out the corn in the yard. So, but she had that hack also, and her reminded me that she said it keeps it moist, it keeps it fresh. This is the way to do it.
I was
How long was it in there, Joby?
3.5 minutes. And if you Google it, Ken, some people will say 3, some will say 3:15, and kind of landed on the 3:15. But we all tasted that ear, didn't we, Cheryl? I mean, everyone, it was perfectly cooked. But I mean,
it was really
take
good.
not one piece of silk. Kelly, you're on mute, love.
If you want to do more than one at a time,
Yeah.
Can you? That's what I don't know. I've never seen that.
No,
I've
I don't.
done two.
Have
Yeah,
you?
I don't.
Cynthia?
I've done 2 or 3 for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, no, my friend, I think only cooks in bulk, and she does it. So
Wow. That would be a
I
good thing
do
to
it
get,
too.
Kristen, because Cheryl and I said it down at the farm. I mean, I just think I was fascinated, just fascinated. I love learning new stuff. Don't you love learning new stuff?
yes.
Well, it's 2 minutes till I have one closing video. But Becky, you had a question midweek about baking or cooking. Did you get that answered?
I believe so because I was told to try a little bit of baking soda.
What was your conundrum?
I have a breakfast casserole that I cook, and it fluffs up very well in the oven. But when I take it out and it's cooling off, then it just deflates.
Yeah.
So instead of a 3-inch casserole, it goes down to 1.5 or 1 inch.
It's just not the same.
No,
And
but it
so,
still tastes great.
yeah. But
So
the
I was
advice you
told to
got?
use the baking soda or to try to cook it in a water bath.
Yeah, that's the way you keep us. I've never done it with like what you're like calling a breakfast casserole, but when I make things like an asparagus souffle, and if you put it into a water bath, it really helps that deflating issue. Sometimes they're going to deflate anyway, just
Yeah.
it's really hard to try to cook something that's supposed to puff up and keep it puffed up.
Okay.
That's why French chefs are renowned, for their souffles because somehow they keep them big and bubbly and beautiful. But I have found that cooking it in a water bath so that the water comes up about a half to 3/4 of the way up your cooking dish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
Becky, when you do this again, I want to see the results on the Sanctuary in the Woods Facebook page. Okay.
Okay.
There. With photos.
I'll do it.
And maybe a taste. All right, friends, anything that we need to say to make us complete? I've got a nice closing for us tonight, but I didn't want you to leave here without sharing your most famous hack. Like I said, Cheryl's never been a recipe. She's done the same ever. Right, Cheryl? Ever. We got the garlic, we got the mustards, we got the ketchup thrown out. What else? Anything else at all? Okay. So here you do. And if any of you do you watch CBS Sunday Morning, the Sunday morning show? Kelly, what do they do at the end, Kelly? What do they leave you with? Oh my God.
Cute.
Sorry, I kept coughing. Moments in nature.
They do. Moments in nature, and it's calming and it's peaceful. And it's interesting, it might be silly, but I actually wait for it to be all the way done so I get whatever moment in nature. And so I thought that might be the right thing to do tonight. So we're going to leave you with, hold on.
talk.
So I don't know if you ever watched the Sunday morning show, but they always leave you at the end with something calming and wonderful about nature. So Sanctuary Kitchen, this is Bader. This is our beach. This is the pickleball courts. And a beautiful view of one portion of the lake. This is where we obviously play ball with the bee. And we put in with our kayaks as well. Nice park over there with a lot of flowers. It's really quite something. And that's how we'll leave you. Coming from Sanctuary North. So there we go.
Loved it.
Isn't that nice? A little bit of special.
Yes.
And anyway, thanks for coming on a Tuesday, on a nice sunny Tuesday, summery Tuesday. Hope you either stay warm or stay cool wherever you are. Darcel, thanks for hanging in from California, bringing the West Coast to us. And y'all stay safe out there and knock on some doors, right? Do the right thing.
Yep.
Make sure that you're ready.
Make
Especially
calls.
the cruise, that
Don't
you
need to
are
here.
able to vote ahead of time. Kelly, did you know
Yes.
you got the October 1 date for the meeting?
Yes, Cheryl told me.
Okay, otherwise talk to
October.
Okay. We're going to get some and more information out anyway. So,
Yeah.
okay.
October 1, I need to reserve.
Save the date, baby.
October 1. Yep, in 2 weeks, so that you can. We're going to talk about the itinerary and do Q&A, so everybody can have. I mean, that's the coolest thing. We weren't able to do this before COVID. The last time we did one because we didn't have Zoom. Now we can get together and have a Q&A before we go on the cruise, right?
All
It'd be
right.
cool.
Great.
Yeah. So
And,
again,
book club
bring
is
your
next
favorite-
Tuesday.
next Tuesday is
Book club is
Kelly,
next Tuesday. Yes.
Yes, I have
I
it.
just bought the
and
book.
we're reading The Diamond Eye, which you can read in a weekend, especially if you.
It was good.
It's a
Yeah.
good
It's
book.
very good. Yeah.
I finally got one read beforehand.
Good job, Becky. I love it.
It's all
Usually like
progress.
an hour before speeding up the audiobook. So
Yeah, I'll call you and remind you Tuesday afternoon, Chris, and you're like, oh shit. Yeah. Put it on 3.0. Anyway, next week is book club. The next week, October 1st, is the info session. And you know what? There's a lot of cruising hacks, right? Things that you're like, man, I'll never forget to do this again or that again, or products to bring. Carnival has some particular hacks, but we'll also be talking about the internet packages. I know everyone's kind of freaked out that we're going to be on the high seas during the election, and we're figuring all that stuff out as best we can. But bring your hacks, bring your ideas, bring your questions, and we can't wait to see you because, like Cheryl said, we didn't. It wasn't that we couldn't do this. We didn't know that we could do this, and now we do. So we are. So Jules, welcome. Appreciate you giving you the virtual hug there. And
Thank
Mom,
you.
Granny Bell, thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming. It was nice to meet you, Jules.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
See y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Tom and Cynthia. And bye, Mom. See you in a minute.
bye-bye.
Bye, Christian.
Bye.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye,
Good to see you
y'all.
guys.
Bye. It's good to see
Bye,
you
Cynthia.
too. I'm gonna go eat dinner.
There you go.